Hey, we're back.
Hey, how's that? Yeah. Hey, here we go.
Somebody's going to have to hit me up here, boys. What are we doing first?
What are we going to do first?
Buddy, I don't care.
You got them over here. Which one you want to do?
What do you want to try? There's a rye.
What's this Tattersall?
I think it was Tattersall is how it was pronounced.
Tattersall.
Tattersall.
Tattersall. And then you got, what's this one over here?
Crown Royal Winter Wheat. It's like a 20th anniversary or something.
Winter wheat. Give me what that's going to be like.
It's really smooth, in my opinion. Really calm, really smooth. Almost has a sweet taste to it. And I typically don't like sweet in a bourbon, but man, and that's
Canadian
more of a whiskey, but
yeah.
But man, it is
Probably tastes like bourbon though.
So-
with wheat.
so kind of whenever I was grabbing these bottles, I kind of went from one end of the spectrum. So I imagine this to be pretty strong, pretty spicy, hot.
Okay.
This is going to be cool, and this
Smoky.
should be
None of them are going to be smoky.
no. I really don't know what to expect out of
Let's try
this
this rye.
Brooks.
What is it?
It's a cast strength, so I don't remember what the proof is on that.
Could be pretty strong, I'd say.
Yeah,
You think it'll be hotter than that?
yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
I mean, we can't discriminate on hotness.
Well, I don't like it hot. I don't like it hot. How's this work?
So I was going to bring, but man, I didn't want to bring a bunch of bottles. But Midwinter's Night Dram. It's by High West.
That sounds intriguing. I've never tried that.
As a buddy of mine says, it's like a warm winter hug. Man, it is.
The Kentucky hug.
Yeah, I mean, it is really good.
Pass that around, Pudge.
There you go. I'm just going to let mine ferment there a minute. You guys do with them fancy glasses?
There's one sitting in front of you.
Oh, I didn't see it.
That's to taste it with first. You got to go neat first.
Got to go neat.
Yeah. Too hot.
This rye won't be too hot.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I always thought ryes were hot.
Now
Not necessarily.
this is Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad's home country.
Well, not my home country. My wife.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, her whole family is from Utah.
Smells
moved
really smooth.
Doesn't? You gonna try a little?
I've never
Should
been.
I try it neat?
I think.
I would. I mean, just pour a.
Oh boy.
Sorry. Just pour a taste.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, man.
Oh, Chad says it's interesting.
It is.
It is. That's not like a lot of ryes.
It's not what I was expecting, to be honest.
No. Could it?
Well, I was going to cheers you guys, but gee whiz.
Could it be the
Tattersall.
folks in the
Cheers.
Utah basin know how to make some whiskey over here, man?
Ooh, smells good.
Yeah.
And it is really. It's almost like a caramel.
Yeah, it's got like a smoothie. Smooth, like a rich smoothie smell.
Yes.
Not so much,
Now it's got a
little bit of that.
it's got an afterbite.
Yeah, that's a
But man, it's
very unique, man.
yeah, and that's what I love about not just bourbons. A lot of times I'll refer to it as bourbons, but I don't mean just bourbons.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Well, a rye is pretty distinct, but I got to be honest, that tastes different than any rye I've ever
that's
tried.
What's a rye versus bourbon?
so the majority of the mash bill is rye.
Yeah, as opposed
So
to corn
Yes,
or wheat.
Okay, say this again, slowly. I don't know anything about the whiskey process. Okay, so you guys are ate up with this.
I don't know about 89.
So what is the process that they use to make this whiskey / bourbon? I know there's a lot like
starts with what they call a mash list,
okay, which is what?
which is basically the recipe. Am I right?
Yep.
I mean,
So the ingredients.
Yes.
Move that mic up, Jan.
and then the like in a rye,
Okay.
the
Ingredients.
the key ingredient or what they use the most of in that mash bill is rye.
Rye.
As opposed to most bourbons, it's probably corn.
Yeah, yeah. So your corn,
Yeah.
Corn liquor.
man. Someone's going to catch this and bash me for it, but I think it's 80% corn. So a bourbon has to be at least 80% corn, and then the remaining 20% can be a combination of whatever wheat,
Sweets.
rye.
Wheat, rye.
Yeah,
Also, the mash is like the vegetable that causes the fermentation.
yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah. So you're breaking your starches and sugars down.
Yeah.
So
That's not where you add the sugars.
you will.
Yeah, this is where it starts.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
Yes.
this is what the mash is what you essentially mash up to start
The ferment.
The process.
The ferment process. Yeah.
Which makes the alcohol.
Correct.
Right.
Okay. So, all right. So then they take that mash
Mm-hmm.
and they do what with it?
You're going to pull the liquid off.
You're going to pull all the liquid off.
Yep.
So you're going to, so explain to me where do they keep this mash? Like where are you going to do that process out of or with
A
what?
large vat or a still.
Okay. So you fill the whole thing up with mash.
Yep.
All right.
And it's
Wet
pretty
it,
similar to
steam it.
beer.
Yeah, it's very similar to what you would see when they
I
start.
don't do beer.
Well, when they start making craft beer, like
Yep.
you've seen the big vats,
Yep.
Yeah.
things like that. I mean, same kind of thing.
Barrel.
No, that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Okay, so not I didn't mean the wooden thing, but I'm just saying some sort of
Well, like at your big distilleries, like if you've ever been on the Bourbon Trail, I mean, the vats are enormous.
okay. So they take that and they add the mash into the vat, and then the vat. Do you add water? Do you put pressure?
Yes.
Do you steam it?
Water.
Do you?
Water. A lot of people do a lot of different things, and I'm no expert on this.
That's where it goes different. Like
Yeah.
different companies and distilleries do it differently. Some of them are cold distilleries. Some of them use charcoal. Some of them use to be bourbon. It has to use a certain amount of limestone. Correct?
That's Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah,
Kentucky's
bourbon.
convinced that their limestone purifies the water.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
makes it better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do they? So they clear the liquid off of it. So how do they?
You're going to pull the liquid off.
or pull the liquid off?
Yep. So I'm going to speak to this in very generic terms, like in my backyard.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know any of this.
So we're going to take a 55-gallon drum. We're going to throw whatever combination of corn, rye, wheat, whatever you want, right, in a barrel. And you're going to leave it set for 7 days. And that barrel cannot drop below 70 degrees, thereabout, right?
Okay.
And you're just going to let that thing ferment.
Just sit there.
Just sit there, right? So all your starches.
7 days
7 days.
in water, or just you
Yes,
just
in
pour
water.
So you pour it all in there and then add the
Yep.
water, or add the water first.
You add the water when you set it all. So you're going to add yeast, sugars, whatever. And a lot of guys,
Your mash.
yeah, I know a lot of guys, if you're making homebrew, they'll even add like bananas and apples and whatever. But regardless, you're going to put that in a 55-gallon drum. You're going to let that ferment for 7 days. And then a lot of guys use like a cheesecloth. And again, I'm speaking generically, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to use a cheesecloth and a pump and pump that liquid off. And that liquid is what you're going to run through your still. And a still, the principle of a still is no different, whether it's my little 12-gallon still or the 1,200-gallon stills in Kentucky. So once you boil that, the alcohol is going to escape in a vapor form. And then it's once it leaves there, there's 15 million, I don't want to say 15 million, several different variations of how we capture that alcohol. But basically the alcohol is going to boil and then condensate back down. And
That's what
we're drinking.
And then it goes, but like when it comes out of that process, it's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like vodka.
Yep.
Yeah, or
And
moonshine.
then it goes into the barrel.
Yep.
Okay.
Which is the whole, probably the largest part of the process, actually. I mean, well,
It's
maybe
gotta
not.
be
You
the
pour
most
it in there.
expensive.
It definitely.
I mean,
And
because
That's where it ages. That's
Yeah.
that's where it develops its taste, its
Yep.
smokiness, and
Yep.
everything was from that barrel.
Yeah, and I've got a really good friend of mine that spent a lot of time in the barrel making industry, and he taught me so much on how the barrel itself will alter the taste and the flavor palette, everything of one bottle to another. So you can have the same exact
Go buy
White
2 bottles
liquor.
of Jim Beam, or
well, you could have the same white liquor, and if your barrels aren't consistent, it'll change those bottles. Right. Even though your mash and the process is the same, if your barrels aren't consistent, it's going to change it all.
that's what makes the larger distilleries and stuff. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's the consistency.
That those dudes can do that.
Yeah, I mean, and the guy that started Bullet, I mean, if you ever get really nerdy, I mean, that guy was an attorney, I believe, down in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Chubbyville.
Shelbyville.
Shelbyville. I thought you said Chubbyville.
Shelbyville.
Yeah.
But that guy started a distillery. I think it was in the 80s or whatever. And man, his claim to fame is consistency. I mean, you can go get whatever. What is it now?
You got
$30.
Yeah,
And it's
not
consistent.
expensive. Yeah.
And that at that time, that was
And
really hard.
every one of their labels is like that. Too,
Yes,
man.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
And what I remember when it dawned on me that how cool the barrel aging process is.
Yes.
Is like when you try some different ones. Like, okay, it might be the same bourbon. Like it might be Bullet, just their regular Bullet, or then they'll have like a white label that's a 10-year 10-year Bullet. Then they'll come out with a barrel strength, like Four Roses barrel strength and small batch. And it's
Yes.
unbelievable. Like
They're delicious.
They
I
taste
love
different, and they're
Four
real,
Roses.
they're so good.
Yeah, and
But
then-
like if you take like their regular bottle that's like what, $20, like just-
$14.99
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Okay, then you get the small batch, it's that round bottle or whatever, and you're kind of like good,
Okay.
better. Then they're what is that the
Handle.
single barrel?
yeah, the single barrel.
Oh my goodness, man!
So whenever they say all that stuff, that like you literally got to know what if it's single barrel.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
so what's this? This
That's
is
the whole complexity. So that's going to be and this isn't the right term, but that's
this
almost
is
like
Tattersall.
that's almost like a micro brewery. I mean,
Yeah, they're small.
They're very small, so they can control their quality. But that bottle
But
is
what are they aging
2
these in?
years old. I don't have to look on the bottle. I don't remember what this one is.
Ryes a lot of times aren't as long, but
No. So this is 100 proof.
And that's all part of your process too, and what proof it is.
sure, yeah, the longer it stays in there, man.
This one doesn't say.
I don't think I would want to do those ones out of the wine
I don't like
barrels.
Some of them are okay. Like it depends to me. Like I enjoy the sherry casks, like Angel's Envy.
Oh yeah.
Some of those are all right.
So when you're drinking whiskey, you're really wanting to know how it's made. You're not just saying, "Give me a bourbon."
Well, I think that's part of the interesting part of it for me. What do you
that.
think?
Yeah, that's
Kyle?
for me. I mean,
yeah.
So we went up to.
this is Minnesota.
So if you guys are ever bored, and I could let this be a plug for High Bank Distillery, but High Bank up in Columbus, I mean, they've got a really good restaurant. If you call ahead, have you ever been there?
I've not. I've heard
You
I've heard-
need to
I've
make
heard
the
some-
trip.
Yeah, I've heard it's really cool.
So yeah, you can take a tour. But so they did some bottles in wine barrels, and they literally had a left and a right. So it was the same mash, same everything.
Yeah.
Went into a barrel on the left and a barrel on the right.
Yeah.
So we're standing there with the master distillery, and he's like, "Try them." And those two were daylight and dark difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the right. I hated the left.
Yeah.
It was the same mash bill. The only thing that was different, and the barrels, the wine barrels come from the same winery, but for whatever reason, those barrels were different enough that it completely changed the palate of those bottles.
Wow.
So, I mean, you get into stuff like that. and it's like-
Temperature, like if the temperature of those barrels at a point got crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
those head distillers get so involved in where those barrels are placed in the rack house.
yeah.
What floor are they on?
Yeah, boy.
Are they on the outside? Are they on the inside?
Because it's gonna taste different.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think, this is Kentucky's claim to fame, the change in temperature. So you have the really warm summers and really cool winters. Yeah. They say that change really draws the flavor out of the barrels.
I can see that.
I could see it. I mean,
as opposed to somewhere that stayed the same temperature all the time.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that just from our
But-
decks.
Well, that's kind of
exactly.
it's kind of the difference between like well, I mean, there's a vast difference. It's probably a horrible example, but like whiskey and wine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most of your great wines, like in America, they're in like Napa Valley and all that. I mean, the temperature is pretty much the same
Control.
year round.
Yeah.
Now it goes from hot and cold during the same day,
Yeah.
but not like here. Like the weather down there where they're making bourbon is the same as it is here, man.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah. Rough.
Yeah.
Like right now would be a tough time.
Well, one of the coolest things. Well, man, those rick houses are hot.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Go on a tour in like spring, fall.
Yeah.
Don't go in summer, and don't go in the winter. We Ashley and I did that once, and they are freezing.
Really?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the coolest times I was at Jim Beam, which I think gives a great tour.
Yeah,
It's
they do.
most popular bourbon in the world. But they were uncorking barrels of Knob Creek, and the guy that was running the thing there, man, let us all have a little shot right out of the barrel.
Right out of the barrel. Oh my gosh.
Man, that was cool. Dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was cool.
Completely unchilled, unfiltered.
Yeah, just right out of there.
Yeah.
man. He goes, I
That's-
probably shouldn't do this, but it was just cool.
what the heck?
Great story.
I mean,
Great
that's
story.
it's like I was telling Chad earlier. You know, it's not for me. It's not as much about the bourbon or the whiskey or the alcohol. It's the experience.
It's about
You
getting
know,
drunk.
Huh?
It's about getting drunk.
No,
That's
what we were talking about. Like, man, I'm to that point anymore. If I get drunk, it's on accident.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I mean, you taste 5 or 6 different
And
whiskeys.
you're going to be
it.
drunk.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. That's
yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
but to sit down and, you know, me look at Ashley or one of my buddies and be like, man, we're going to finish this bottle off tonight and I'm going to forget everything I did. I'm past that. Like, way past that. And
Now, if conversation leads, hey, try this.
I was going to say, because
try
typically
this.
when Chad and I throw the top off one,
boy, I'll tell you.
now,
It don't get back on.
yeah. So my brother-in-law was up a couple weeks ago and we had this conversation. Derek, I don't know if you guys remember
Derek
Derek
King?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So
Worked
Derek
with his
was
dad.
up and you know, I'd forgot about it. It was a couple of years ago. Dylan Howe, you know, Dylan and I trade around a lot, and we're always chasing bottles. So Dylan come up, and Derek's in Charlotte now, roughly. But so he come up, and Dylan come over, and we're like, hey, man, let's, you know, start tasting. So we were tasting bourbons, and I went ahead and opened this bottle of Yellowstone. And I mean, yeah. And like, finally, Derek looked at me, and he's like, where's that bottle of Yellowstone? And it was empty.
Yeah.
And none of us were plastered, nothing.
Yeah.
But it was just, we got into conversation. We got
That's
to
how it
drink.
goes.
That's how it goes.
And I think it is the coolest drink
Bourbon.
to do that with, man. I mean,
Yeah,
to
and I
try
mean-
these different.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it is, to me, I mean, no doubt why. I mean, I certainly sport it still as the American cocktail, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's
Yeah.
our booze. And I mean, it's it's good, man.
Yeah, it
and it's
is.
fun, and there's so many different varieties, which is the same with any whiskey. I mean, Scotch is the same.
Scotch
way.
is the same.
I mean, but
And like you and I were talking before the show, I mean, the tequila thing.
oh
is
yeah, here it goes.
Huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Once you taste it, like once you figure out the taste of Scotch versus the bourbon, you never can get that out of your mouth.
I can't.
Cardiff just loves that Scotch.
I know,
Him and
and-
Morris, bud. I mean, and Morris
likes it.
has given a hard push, and we're gonna have him back on the show.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about. I mean, that guy gave one of the best presentations on Scotch that I've ever heard.
Well, I see him wound a man.
Well,
I'm not going to mention the name. I'm not gonna mention
but
that
there was a man
There
that
was
got tranquilized.
There was a man that he put down there.
And it was not me, and it was not you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
What
And
you
it was
either?
not Kyle.
Yeah,
It was not.
yeah.
The man is not here.
Yeah, but he got woo.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. The handful of times that I have had Scotch is the worst headaches I've woke up from.
Really?
Yeah. So
I don't know that I've ever drank enough of it to
I've never been drunk
to
on
be, yeah, it always has. And Morris will get mad at me for saying this,
I know what you're going to say.
but it has this taste. Yeah, like when you just get
I think
done
it's like
vomiting.
a malty, like mothballs. Have you ever walked into?
Oh yeah,
It's vomit.
or like you've just eaten a rotten fruit or something.
Yeah.
Or you just vomited in your mouth and it's still in between your
now
gums and your jaw.
Now the only
vomit.
one I like that everybody else hated is the one that is really peaty and smoky. Like it's like you're drinking a piece of firewood, or like they pour water over a piece
I don't
of
even-
burnt firewood. But there was
Which
something
one was
about
that?
that. I think it was
Glenfiddich?
Ardbeg.
Glenfiddich is a Scotch, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's blended though. I think.
Yeah.
But man, I'm talking way out of school on that. I mean, I have no idea.
Or is it might just be an Irish whiskey.
No. It's Scotch.
It's
Oh my goodness. Just finished up with one of our favorite stops after football.
McDonald's.
That's right. Thank you, Brad and Sarah Munn, and all of our local McDonald's restaurants for being great sponsors here at the Chubbies. Chubbies, I still want to know how many points you got. I've got more of them tonight. Go to McDonald's. Help out Brad and Sarah Munn. They sure help out our communities. Thanks, Brad and Sarah. In Ireland.
okay.
And I mean, it was
Hard to beat.
It was awesome.
So you're a Bushmills
So like
guy.
I'm like out of hell with JMO, and everybody gets pissed off. But I mean, I like JMO too. But Bushmills, man, is
Now, what's the brewing process of rum?
I honestly
I have
can't tell
no
you that.
idea.
Okay, what about tequila?
Man, that's an Ashley question. Ashley, so it's all glaves, right? Is that the right
Agave,
word?
agave. Yeah, I think so.
Agaves?
Yeah.
I know it's a much quicker process, which is why a lot of your celebrities are jumping on board to throw their name on the bottle.
Not in a barrel near as long.
No.
It is in a barrel, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like 6 months.
Most all this stuff is in barrels, dude.
Except for
beer. Yeah,
I think beer's the only thing that doesn't turn in a barrel,
right,
basically.
Right.
I don't even like beer anymore.
Yeah, that's what
do.
we were.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, I don't, man. I like if you had beer here, I'd be like, I don't know. Now I like these, and I shouldn't because these just absolutely destroy me.
Well, that's the my problem is I started off, and Kyle, maybe you can relate to this. I started off as a beer drinker, right? And so my problem is I want to sit down and drink bourbon like I'm drinking beer. You better learn that lesson early.
Yeah,
because that's not going to work.
Fortunately, I had an older brother that initiated me on bourbon right out of the gate. I mean, the first drink I had, the first drink I had was Wild Turkey. You know, you know, for years, it was Wild Turkey.
He's still a big whiskey man.
Yeah, dude. He, but he, and it's nothing against it. You know, he loves a handful of whiskey bourbons, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't like venturing out like I do.
He likes Whistle Pig, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Whistle Pig. We got into Whistle Pig. It's really good.
That's a rye.
Yeah, it's a rye. Out of Mineville, New York, in case you're wondering.
This isn't from Utah. It's from Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's from Utah. We picked it up straight there.
Oh, it says
Minnesota grown corn.
Yeah.
Corn.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they probably can't grow corn in Utah, I'd say.
You know, you would know more about that than I would.
I really wouldn't have been there.
I don't know, man. My neighbor's planting some corn through a pile of gravel, and the corn's growing, so I'm sure they can get it to grow in the salt flats out there. Just call Dylan. I'm sure he can figure out how to knife some nitrogen into it.
Oh, yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah.
But I don't... I guess I've really never got into these ryes. I guess I didn't really know the difference.
Well, they'll vary.
The Whistle
just
Pigs.
Like, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The Whistle Pigs is a rye that is so huge. So they have a 6, 10, 12, 15, and 18
barrel
year.
Yeah.
The 6 year is okay. They call it their piggyback. It's not bad. The 10 year is freaking awesome. You know, back when Jason still had the store in town, he had the 12 year, and I told him, I said, Jason, get the 10. And he's like, well, you know, the 12. And I'm like, get the 10. You'll sell 5 to 1 because the 12 is not very good.
Yeah.
But then you get to the 18 and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Well, it's like, I can see why I just paid $120 for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But the 10 is much more palatable, in my opinion.
Yes.
And a better price point.
Exactly.
Yeah. The 12 year
it does
is not very good.
No.
I'm with you. I still say bang for your bucks, Jim Beam.
Well, I mean, Jim Beam, I mean, not really. I mean, bang for your buck, in my opinion.
Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
$25 out
Yeah,
there.
if you can find it.
Yeah.
That's the hard time.
Yeah.
That's why I've kind of become like, lately, I'm buying a lot of this Bullet rye and regular Bullet.
It's hard to beat Bullet. I mean,
it's not bad.
It's not bad.
But I've been noticing they're kind of edging up the price point on Bullet. They're getting proud of it.
Everything up.
They're getting proud of it.
They're edging everything up. Because I think the 10-year Whistle Pig, when I started drinking it, I think it was $79.99.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to $99.99. I think it's $100.
$100, yeah, I think so.
I mean, everything's, which I get it. I mean, every input cost all the way around is going up.
Oh, sure.
And of course, demand.
You still go to bars?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
You still go to bars?
Not really. And I don't mean this to sound arrogant, but it's so disappointing going to a bar. Number one, they don't have half of what I have. And number two, it's, you know, that glass right there is going to cost me $25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went to a bar last week. Yeah, last week. Ashley and I went out just, I don't want to say a bar. I went to a restaurant, let's say.
Yeah.
And then I told the bartender, I said, hey, pour me something. She's like, all right, you want a double? And I'm like, yep. Buffalo Trace. I was like, that's cool. Give me a double. I went to pay for it, and it was $20.
You're like, come on.
And I'm like, do you realize the bottle's 25?
Yeah.
You know? And now, listen, I don't fault the restaurant owners for it.
Oh, no, it's probably hard for them to find, man.
Well, but I mean, they're in the business. That's what they do. But
Sure.
for me, it's like, I've got it at home. I don't need to pay
I don't
$20
understand.
here.
I don't understand. Here's something I'm struggling with. Why are I know food costs are way up. Like to feed your family right now at the grocery store
shit, yeah.
but if you look at that, like I don't care what you go get. Okay, I don't care what it is. You know, if you looked at that thing versus what it cost you, you know you could still do it for 10%. I bet.
If you did it yourself.
Yeah, like why
Or
are
like
these
if you bought it
margins
and had it
so?
at home? Is what
Yeah,
like
like
when we're talking bar restaurant.
I went somewhere the other day and I got 2 pieces of chicken. Mindy got chicken. I got chicken, and Gib got something, and it was like $70.
Yes,
and I was like, dude, I had a cup of veggies, 2 chicken breasts, and probably 6 nuggets.
There you go, bud.
Like, and like we drank popping water. Like,
Oh yeah, that's what I mean, man. I'll tell you what. It's funny. Like Helena's home this summer, right? So we got the whole band back together.
yeah, 5 of them.
Which I'm not complaining about. Let me say that.
Yeah.
But like,
Where's your grocery budget?
well, it's amazing, dude. Like when we go out to eat, like when she's home, we like to like go out to eat and do different things like that. And my God, man, I mean, to take 4 or 5 of us, like it's $100 bill, dude.
Every time.
Every time.
Hey, listen, man, we're not buying craft beers and drinks.
No.
We're drinking Diet Pepsis and
Tea.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, it's
So
just,
why is that?
Well, I don't know, man. I've never been in that business.
Guys, here's what aggravates me. And again, not to sound like this guy, but a couple of years ago, Ash and I started really, really buckling down on budget. We'd always done it, but never got super serious about it. And one of the things she pointed out, I was eating out all the time,
Because your job.
Yeah. I was on the road, and she's like, hey, we need to
200.
discipline ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so started making extras for dinner, packing lunch, starting getting more disciplined. Well, what I discovered through that is by not eating Wendy's, 3 days a week, right, I can go to Jeff Ruby's once a month on that same Monday.
There you go, dude. Yeah.
And once that light bulb went off, I'm like, Jeff Ruby's all day long. And here's the thing, guys. I can go to Jeff Ruby's, take my wife out to Jeff Ruby's, get a 12-ounce Wagyu, get catered like no other for like $300.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
About the same.
right.
On what you're
Well,
gonna spend money.
but I'll tell you what, you'll enjoy that dinner at Jeff Ruby's a hell of a lot more than what
That's
you will
my
driving
point.
through Wendy's 3 times. No offense, Wendy's.
Yeah, no
But
offense
they're
to
not our
Wendy's
sponsor.
or
Yeah,
anyone. It's just
that's right. That's right.
And by God, McDonald's, you wouldn't do that. Man, we love you.
Yeah, we're not
It's
talking
the
about
app.
Big Macs.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's the app. If you use the app,
yeah.
you discipline yourself to use the app.
Did we turn you onto that, dude?
No joke. So
How are you hearing this?
Brad will tell you. So took the family through. I don't remember. I was missing a drink or a fry or something, and the kids were just screaming in the back. You know how it is. I've got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, and whichever one of the kids was missing something, and I was like, I want my cheeseburger. So I'm like, all right. So I parked in whatever spot 6. I walk in there and I'm like, guys, I'm missing my cheeseburger. Brad looks at me, deer in the headlights. He's like, man, I'm sorry. And I'm like, listen, it's Pudge's fault. I went to spot 5 because Pudge keeps bragging on the app and the reserved spots. And he's like, I'll tell Pudge this.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, it was no big deal. People make mistakes. But yeah.
You make an awesome point there, though, man, because I know we went through this exercise. I don't know, it's like last spring or whatever. Our kids are involved in all these different sporting activities, and I'm gone half the time, whatever, and we're constantly eating out.
Yeah.
Well, you're constantly adjusting to life.
Well, yeah, but like then all of a sudden, like if you actually put a number to it, dude,
That's it.
I mean, we're spending. I mean, no joke, dude. Like we're spending between $3,000 and $4,000 a month eating out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was the light bulb for us. So
I mean, and you don't realize that.
You don't
man.
realize it. So we caught it on the health conscious side of things. It was like, hey, because Ashley got us really good into watching our macros, counting our macros. So through that, it was, man, look at what we've been spending eating out. So, my kids are pretty involved, not super involved, but parents are like, hey, I got to run through McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever. Grab gas station pizza because I can't fix dinner. And it's like, well, we've fixed dinner.
Yeah. Sunday.
You can, exactly. You can plan ahead and figure
It's
it out.
what you've got to do. And it involves some planning.
It does. And listen,
It's
You gotta give
easier. It's easier in the summer
Yes.
when we can activate the grill, in my opinion.
Big cooking surface.
Yeah, you can go out there and cook
10 steaks at a time.
or whatever, chicken breasts, whatever. I mean, makes it a little easier, man.
It does.
But in the winter, like I'm telling you what, man, we're gonna do a better job next year. I mean, it's just kind of because that's ridiculous. I mean,
We don't eat. The only bad thing we do is with Gibson. Like he is he's not picky, but it's like,
all my kids are.
gosh, you get him something, and he's like, oh, I don't like it. Oh, well, what else you want? And you gotta go get something else, and it's like, you're just gonna need to start eating what we fix and just.
I'm a mean dad. I don't give my kids a choice. It's like, here's what it is. You're going to eat it or starve. Figure it out.
Well, I mean, I think that like what I notice though is like my kids are much more apt to complain or bitch about food outside the home. Oh, I don't like that or whatever. But like if we make it at the house,
I would agree with that.
they're normally kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
Dad made this. Or
Yeah.
Mom made
Yeah, I
you
would
know.
agree with that.
They seem to be a little more excited about it, you know.
I love eating with my son. You know, my dad always said this. He said, "You can learn a lot about your kids at the dinner table."
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And he said,
Yes.
if you really want to get to know your kids, he said, sit down there and have dinner with them every night. And he said, you'll be able to get to know them. He said, that's how. And I kind of believe that. I make Gibson sit there and eat. You know,
And
like,
do you think that was a product of COVID? Maybe, you know, you had the time and you were almost
hey,
forced
I'm
to
gonna
go to
tell
the
you what,
table, and then this light bulb went off and was like, hey.
we've kind of always done that though.
Did you?
Yeah.
We try to, but
Yeah.
man, I'll tell you, we've struggled. With
It's,
that.
well, I got one kid.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you've got kids varying ages.
Yes, I do.
So
Yeah,
it's-
and I mean, we just like certain times of the year, it gets a little rough. Now in the winter, this year nobody played basketball. We didn't do anything. I mean, we had
Yeah, you had the time.
some little stuff, but yeah, and then it was nice. I mean, we've got to get back to that, and I mean, Kyle Pudge and I talk about this all the time on the show. Like, and heck, we'll ask your opinion of it.
Chubby's, hey, you know, we all know this guy, all the folks over at AP Prep. We cannot thank you enough. Look those guys up at apprep.info. We get asked all the time, hey, what happens? How do you get over there? Hey, that's how you do it. You get on apprep.info, you look them up, you set a time for your kid's assessment. They schedule a time, you bring your kid over there, boom, it's done. They get you right in the schedule. And hey, for all you adults, you just show up on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 5:30, and they got their boxing classes. It's $10, or you can join by the month. So look them up at apprep.info.
It passed, but man, I'll tell you, what a nice reset that
Yeah.
was. Man.
It was, and
You know.
I agree with you. I think it was needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Looking
it was almost like it was checking us up.
it was
something.
kind of
Yeah.
it was kind of cool for my family, man.
Mine too.
Oh, you
Yeah.
want to play baseball with them? No, they're in any baseball.
Yeah.
They're in
Yeah.
any football. They're in any. No, just
Once we got
hang out
past
at the
that
house,
initial-
buddy. Yeah.
Once we got past that initial shock of, hey, there is no baseball.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, hey, there is no whatever.
Well, I mean, you could go out and scream at the sky if you wanted to, but you know,
Yeah.
the thing is, I mean, hey, look, dude, it is what it is. Embrace it.
yeah.
Let's enjoy ourselves here a little bit. You know.
I had a great time.
Well, I did too.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people lost people and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now look. Now understand, we're not.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
not
mean
what
like
we
it.
mean. dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today about whenever I had COVID and I got sick. I was sick for 24 hours.
Do you know that I went through the entire pandemic and never got it?
You didn't catch it.
You
huh?
still
No.
have it?
And I was absolutely, I don't know if I could say, I was the asshole in the room that, you know, I'd walk in an establishment and they'd be like, hey, put your mask on. I'm like, I'll take my shit somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, like I refused to change anything.
Yeah.
My kids never got it. Ashley didn't get it until like the very end.
Yeah, I kind of caught it towards the. We made it through a long time. My God, dude, we were doing shows,
Right.
The whole thing, man.
Yeah.
And we had a couple scares, but then I did get it. Didn't I get it before you?
I had it in January of
I had
22.
it in January. Me too. I had it in January.
I think it's when Ashley had it. It was January 22.
Abram and I quarantined ourselves in the Comfort Inn and watched the Ohio State Buckeye versus Utah game. So whenever the hell that was, 21, 22.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah. Massey had it.
Massey had it like twice, didn't
Yeah,
he?
but he had it the first time after he left our show.
Oh,
that was
I
over
know.
Thanksgiving break
And that's when we thought we had it.
of 20.
Yeah, we thought we had
Yeah,
it.
it was scary then.
That's
I'll
when
admit
that's
that
when we
was-
thought, I
I didn't go to Thanksgiving with my family.
Yeah. Me either. We all stayed home.
But-
Yeah.
well,
That's what we did. We just didn't do a lot outside of our.
Well, we
family.
were, but Massey had called us and said that he tested positive,
Yeah.
and we had just done a show with him on Thursday or on like Wednesday or
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
And then the following night, it was on Tuesday, and then the following night he told us. So I didn't go to my family's Thanksgiving
and I didn't either.
because I was scared. That was back in full
That's
blown
before
panic.
anybody really knew, like, hey, man, this, you know,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to go around my parents
Kill
or
'em. Yeah.
Melissa's parents or, you know, I just didn't want to do that. And, well,
Yeah.
you know, we all popped through it.
Everybody made it through.
Yeah, we
What
all-
else? So the boys is Mason 10.
He is 10. Just turned 10 2 weeks ago, 25th.
All right. Yeah,
Yep.
he'll be 10 in August.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
are you putting Gibb in football?
No.
So Mason is coming out. Do you know my boy Mason? I don't know if you've seen him.
I've seen him.
The kid's got a heart of gold.
Good, dude. I
He's
look forward. Hopefully, he gets on our side of things.
I don't.
Playing?
Yeah. So he's playing. I don't know how much playing we're going to do, but we're going to.
It's all right.
We're going to go to practice, and that's all he wants to do. That's all. The kid just thrives to be involved and part of something.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
all he wants. You know what I mean? He doesn't care if he's the quarterback or if he's the water boy. He could care less. He just wants to be a part of it.
Well, he'll probably. I hope he has a good experience, man.
I think so. I talked to a couple guys and look forward to it. We'll try it. Start camp next week, and we'll
He's
see
going
what
to
happens.
camp?
Yeah. So he's going to camp. and
You'll have a pretty good idea on whether or not he wants to be a part of it. after
that's
camp.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that camp
Yes.
is, and I'll tell you what, man. I give Coach Hall a lot of credit. That camp's fun, dude.
Yeah.
They look forward to that, man.
But still, you're in the heat of the day.
Oh yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of.
You're going to get a little taste of how it is
and
going to
like
be.
the drills that they do up there. That's kind of what you'll be doing. you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
I don't think that. I don't know, man. We can throw hypotheticals at the wall all day, but I don't think the heat or the drills, I don't think will bother him.
No, they're kids.
Yeah, kids like
yeah.
they don't. That's what I always say. Like, man, you don't need to go out and run 100 sprints because they're kids. I mean,
Well, like
Yeah.
you've always said, though,
yeah.
there's no worse place to be.
Oh, dear
there's no
God,
more
no.
miserable place to be
Yeah.
than on a football field you don't want to be on.
No.
Yeah.
Being at a football practice, if you don't like football,
Yeah.
is the worst place you can be. And one unpopular take that I hand out a lot as advice to parents, because this is the way I looked at it myself. Now, my son loves it. He's looking forward to it this year. But, he's only 11. He'll be a sixth grader. But the way I look at it, like at this age, man, really, I mean, it does not really mean a whole lot toward their future. I mean,
Useful.
the best thing we can do is make them love football. And here's what I always tell parents, like, and this was me, dude. I'm always like, hey, if you start something,
Yeah.
you're going to finish it. Now, I would argue with Pee Wee League parents, particularly first-year players. I mean, if they come home night 3 or 4 or 5 and say,
Early.
yeah, they say, damn, Dad, I don't know if this is for me. I don't like this. I'd be like, hey, I'll tell you what, cool, man. And I think they have flag football and some different things, or they got fall baseball. They got all kind of stuff, or maybe, hey,
Take a
chill out, chill out. Hey, and you know what? If you want to try again, come back next year. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, that's the only time I really feel strongly that it's okay to break that rule of never quitting, because like I've told Pudge all the time, man, there is no worse place to be.
And you're signing up like if you're already there at week or at day 5, 6, 7. I would probably say up until about day 20.
Yep.
And really,
I'd say
it's
first 30 days.
Yeah, it's up to you and your kid, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
I mean,
sure
if
it
you
is.
get pot committed and you're 6 games deep.
Yeah,
you know,
well, there you go.
Yeah, finish it
Then
out.
I think you finish it out.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime before the first game,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
the kid comes home and says, "Hey, man, this sucks,"
Or after
Yeah.
the first game. Like if they don't have any fun at the game, dude, I mean, you know.
well, I mean, they should be a mature enough kid, even at all those levels,
Yeah.
that you should be able to say, "Okay, here's your choices." Do you man? It's a long season. You're here till November.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
It's about every night.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to continue? Because we can't be in and out. You have to either be
No.
all in, and I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to hear
not
this
something-
again.
Yeah, right.
And I think that you could have that conversation with an 8-year-old.
Yeah, I had it with mine.
I think you should.
I had it with mine. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think you
mine has
should have that
decided not to
conversation.
play.
Yeah.
I remember the first year we played football. I mean, hey, man, kid's a lineman, you know.
It's gonna suck.
Well, I mean, it's hot on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. Ah, Dad, what time's practice? You know, when is it over? Yeah.
Especially that sun hits you. You walk out the door, and that heat just
and I
melts
mean,
you.
it's like, man, I've been there. I know what that feels like. And I'm like, hey, look, dude, like, this is football.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to do it now. I mean, and that's the way I've always approached football with him. And maybe I'm wrong, but I've never pushed as far as like, man, there's nothing I'd love more if he'd be waking me up at 9 o'clock in the morning, like, hey, Dad, let's go run. Let's go. Let's go do drills. Hey, take me to AP prep. Take me to all these places. I want to do this. I want to do extra. That ain't my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can be the guy that shoves him into it, and all of a sudden he starts hating it. Or I can be like, cool.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
I-
That's just one thing I try to encourage. And I tell the parents on my team every year, like, hey, look, man, if you're having trouble, come talk to me. I'll talk to your kid. But look,
Open book.
there is no shame or disgrace in saying, you know what, man, we're going to try it again next year.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly first
Well,
year guys.
I don't
mean,
know if you talked to Grant or if you
Oh, yeah.
listened to Grant
Yeah,
Maston's
yeah,
podcast.
absolutely.
But he talked about how, in like third, fourth, you're a different kid than whenever you're in fifth and sixth.
Oh God, yes, I
You're
can see
a
that.
different kid than when you're in seventh and eighth.
Yeah.
You're a different kid in freshman and sophomore than you are your junior and senior.
I just had a conversation with a guy the other night.
You're so many
And
different
he's like, man, if we look right now, okay, my kid is, like I say, he's 11, just turned 11.
Yeah.
His body's going to change roughly 4 more times
Yeah.
before he graduates from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't speak on.
So make sure he's having fun.
Yeah, because if he's not,
He won't be there.
he might miss out on a great opportunity, man. It'd be just like if I'd say the same thing if you're trying to get your kid guitar lessons and he's coming home and he's going, damn it, Dad, I just can't pick this up. I hate it.
Well, yeah.
All right, we'll put it down.
Yeah.
Hey, now next year he might come back to you and be like, hey,
Don't pick us up.
I
now.
want to try this guitar. I mean, I don't know. Hey, I'm certainly no genius, but I might get, I might get burnt for being like that. But man, I'm easy on the push, dude.
I think you got to go easy on the push, but I also think you need to maintain some responsibility.
Oh, absolutely.
And hold them accountable.
Well,
to-
because what you can't forget are the lessons that are there in sports
that
that are important,
that are useful.
useful.
Yeah.
Like we said, useful
But
versus
Yeah.
useful but meaningless.
Yeah.
and we want to pull that usefulness out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something to say whenever you get your clock cleaned and you get up.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
Can't
something
learn that lesson
there,
anywhere.
there's something to be said about winning the race.
Sure.
There's something to be said about scoring a touchdown or scoring a goal.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's something
winning
to be
as
said
a
about,
team.
something to be said about getting beat.
and
coming back
and
the next
coming back.
week.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, there's lots of useful stuff, but at the end of the day, Visa is not going to care what you did when you were 10 years old.
No, dude, Visa doesn't collect Super Bowl trophies, bro.
No. The bank is they're still going to foreclose on your house whether or not you
They're like,
won.
now that's a nice ring you got for that baseball championship when you were 8.
Yeah.
We're still going to take your house.
Where's that? yeah. You got to make sure you get that out when we take your house. Yeah. I know. Well, there's been an onset here lately of like, and I'll just go ahead and say it, but there's been an onset of like some guys that were in sports that's just having some troubles. I think a lot of it may come down to some of that responsibility stuff. I don't know. I'm not here to. Who knows? Everybody's got their theories, but.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We're doing it right now is the only thing I know.
You're a guy. Okay, now you're in sales for a living, if I'm not mistaken.
Not
correct?
anymore.
Okay, are you still with Rumpke? Mm-hmm. Okay, what are you doing now?
Little as I can get by with.
Oh, okay. I see how it goes. I've tried to get myself into one of those backstroke things
Oh
like
man, I'm
that.
telling
Yeah,
you what,
yeah.
it is. So have you ever listened to the Boz Lerman? Everyone's free to wear sunscreen speech.
I
gotta
think
look it
maybe
up.
I have. Yeah, I think
So
maybe I have.
part of that says not many 25-year-olds know what they want to do for the rest of their life, and the most interesting 45-year-olds still don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent the last 15 years of my career trying to find what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I just told my dad like yesterday or the day before, I was like, dude, this is it.
You think you found it?
Yeah, this is it. Like
That's awesome.
It just clicked, and
Well, give us the timeline a little bit. Like how
What are
did
you
it
doing?
go? Yeah, like you start off in sales, and then
yeah. So I want to go back to this story we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah. Because
So-
I think we might have motivated this. guy.
You not positively.
Yeah.
So
hey, we might have been hardcore salesmen.
You were.
You won't.
Like,
I
you-
can't imagine. But
I don't remember this.
I don't know that we've ever talked about it since. So May of 2007. So I'll paraphrase this story real quick. So I'm at High University.
we were going hard.
We're where?
Hardcore. I was at High University.
Okay.
And I'd come home. It was the weekend of Palmer Fest. I come home for the weekend, and
What's your first mistake?
Palmer Fest.
You should have stayed here, or should have stayed in Athens. For
I had to
Palmer
work.
Fest. Oh,
So that's relative to the story. So I get back up to Dusty Nicholson, Pat Lance, and I were living together at the time. So I get back up to our house at like, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock. I crack a beer, start doing some homework, catching up, and just start feeling really, really weak. Finally, at like 3 or 4 in the morning, I wake Dusty up. I'm like, dude, I'm taking myself to the emergency room. So I walk in there, and they're like, hey, so how was Palmer Fest? And I'm like, I don't know, I wasn't here. And they're like, so what kind of drugs you take? I'm like, I wasn't here. I was working. I opened one beer and I couldn't even drink it. Like, I'm out, you know. So long story short, they find out I have Crohn's disease. Okay. So mom, dad comes up, picked me up. We go through the whole rigmarole. Dad goes back home. So I'm up here to Blennis, going through everything with mother. And we come home, and I'm walking in, and I'm just drained. I mean, I'm sick. Walk in our living room, and all I want to do is lay down and go to sleep because I had been poked and prodded and just tortured for like 24 hours. Walk in the living room, and here's you two clowns talking to dad, right? And Chad looks at me and goes, hey, buddy, what's wrong? I still had like the hospital bracelet on my wrist. And he's like, hey, buddy, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. That's great. You need life insurance before it hits your medical records.
Let's go ahead and do it right now.
Let's do it right now. I shit you not. I had that policy up until like 5 years ago. And that cancel Western Southern policy. You know how hard that is?
I've heard it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys leaving. And I remember saying something to Dad. I was like,
Where was this? At your house?
At Mom and Dad's house.
Where?
Up on the hill.
Franklin Grange?
Townhouse.
Or townhouse, yeah.
Because Dad...
I remember sitting.
Yeah, because you...
It wasn't me.
Was I with Joel Wood?
No, it was you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was, dude.
Yeah, it was you.
Because I had that route like right out through.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
On the way to Oak Hill.
I don't know if you were training or just happened to be with him.
You were just, we used to run occasionally together, and we were out there talking to your dad.
Dude, I've been in every living room in Southern Ohio.
I remember it because he came in looking peaked, man.
Oh, dude.
Well, I didn't know him. I didn't know you did. Yeah, Chad would have known you, but I didn't know you.
I just saw he had to, I mean, I gave you some empathy first, right?
No, you did. No, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was him that was an asshole.
It was me. No.
Pudge is the one who wanted your checkbook.
Yeah.
Just sign here. You'll be covered. It's never going to hit your medical record. We'll get you covered before this Crohn's diagnosis hits your...
Back in, you had to watch that stuff.
You still do.
Well, now there's no hiding it.
Oh, yeah. There's no hiding it now. Yeah. Right. So it's...
Yeah, we could have slid that right through.
You did.
We did.
You did. 100% you did. And then, so you guys left, and I don't remember who the agent was at the time. I do. That's a conversation for another story. But anyways, that agent looks at it and goes, oh, my God. Like, if something happens to you, this is not going to pay out.
Well, that guy was lying to you, man.
No, it would.
It was a girl.
No, it would have.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't have. If they issued it,
had it been there 2 years?
Yeah, if it had been there 2 years, it'd
Oh, yeah, it'd been there 2 years.
He was good.
Yeah, you were good, buddy.
Yeah.
He was good. Yeah. Well,
but regardless, I remember you guys walking out the door and telling Dad, I was like, I hate salesmen. And my mom goes, oh, that Reynolds boy is such a nice boy. And I'm like, I don't give a shit, Mom.
Like, eating in her diner all the time.
Right.
Yeah, I remember we used to go over there for breakfast.
Mom, that Reynolds boy. Yeah. I'm like,
we used to go there for breakfast.
So
me and Chad used to meet her right here at the diner every morning.
Really?
Yeah. You know, hers was the one.
Yeah, she was the one over there. Yeah.
I like that.
We fluctuated all of them in town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we had
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that, and even back then, Jackson was just a different place.
Oh, my God, yes.
It really just was.
Yeah, it was.
You'd go in that diner, and or even over at your mom's, there's always the same guys.
Mm-hmm. It was packed in there, man. When I was coaching football the second time through, right
before
I started Western Southern, me, Dad, Shane,
yep,
we would all meet over there
Saturday morning.
Yeah, and sit there. I mean, my goodness, I can't believe she didn't just throw us out there, man.
Dude, she loved it. I mean, she I will say like 95% of the people that come in there, she absolutely loved. And she loved her regulars. I mean, as cantankerous and hateful and everything as most of the regulars were, she still loved them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just give it right back to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, she'd come over and tell us, like, no, you guys got to try this. I mean, I got this.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, well, fire it up.
Yeah.
We'll
bring
try
us some.
And it was always awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you about one of our special friends and friend of the program, Geiger Brothers Construction. Man, those guys have been with us since the start. Scott Massey, even though we're kind of hard on you sometimes, we sure do appreciate your sponsorship. And guys, if you own a commercial business and you need some contracting, engineering work, anything done, give those guys a call. 740-286-0800. Geiger Brothers. Thanks. I hated when that place closed, man.
We got anything else, boys? It's been an hour.
My gosh.
Yeah. See how easy that was?
We've still got 2 more bottles to try.
Wow. I mean, we can try those another time. We'll get you back.
We got to
here.
get you back.
You're
on
going to be
here,
our
man,
resident
because-
bourbon advisor.
Because this is, we're going to start this. I want to get you on here occasionally to talk about bourbon.
Been wanting his brother.
Yeah, we'll have to get him. We'll have to get Morris on here to talk about Scotch.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that one because
Yeah.
I don't know much about Scotch.
Well, I mean, dude, we need to probably, here's a teaser.
Uh-huh.
And tell us, guys, if you'd be interested. Chubby Guys sponsoring some tasting events.
Ooh.
I mean, where we come in and pour some bottles and go. But now, wait a minute. Before we finish up, I want to hear, though, Fannin. We got sidetracked on Pudge and I's tremendous sales ability. All right, so you start off in sales at Rumpke. How many years have you been there?
No. I started off in sales with John Deere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was a total fluke.
Can you help me out there, brother?
So this would have been 09. So we're in a recession. Times are tough, right?
Not an easy
no
time
good-
for sales, yeah.
No, well, I wasn't in
We
sales.
lived it.
Oh, yeah.
So I got,
Thank you.
it was Leslie Equipment at the time, which is Murphy here in town, right?
Oh,
they were in
okay,
Chillicothe.
Okay.
Buddy of mine's dad was the store manager up there. Got dad some business, hauling some equipment for him. We'd hauled several things for him and hadn't heard from him for a while. So I was coming home for Thanksgiving break from Ohio State. I was at Ohio State at the time. We come home, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to swing in down there, just
Say
check
hi.
in.
Yeah.
So I just walk in the office. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? You know, don't want nothing, don't need nothing. Just wondering if we'd done something wrong. Like, we hauled a ton of shit for you, and we haven't heard from you for like a month.
Yeah.
He just like throws his feet up on the desk, and he's like, you want to come to work for me? And I'm like, dude, I'm done turning wrenches. I'm done turning wrenches.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I need a salesman. I'm like, I am not
I hate
salesman.
salespeople. I met these
Dude,
three
I
guys
hate
in my town.
I will buy a car and wire the guy the money so I don't have to talk to him.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I did that for 5 years, and then
Now that.
I haven't let that breathe. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, buddy.
So in 2014, I went again, nerdy story. Stephen Walters.
Yeah.
Stephen had just lost his job
Okay.
and was looking for work. So I'm like, dude, we can find you something, right? And this position come up on like Monster or Zoom, whatever. And it was industrial sales rep or industrial waste rep. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, so you just managed accounts like Glatfelder, Osco, power plants, stuff like that.
Larger accounts.
Yeah, it was all large accounts,
Yeah.
and it was all has, non-has waste stuff.
Oh, okay.
And Bruce Downer, shout out to Bruce. Bruce is why I'm where I am right now. I called Bruce up. I'm like, hey, what is this? And he's like, man, it's really technical. It's like 95% technical, 5% sales. I'm like, that's my job. That's where I need to go. So in that process, so I would just
Was
hypothetically.
Bruce was he the manager at Rumpke? Or?
Yeah, he's the
Superintendent or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the district manager now.
Okay.
So, I always said I don't work for Bruce, but Bruce is my boss.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure it does. Yeah.
He wasn't my direct report.
Everybody has a guy like that.
Yes, and that was Bruce. And man, I'll tell you what, Bruce just took me under his wing, taught me everything he knew. And in my interview, Andy Rumpke, one of the owners of Rumpke, he looked at me and he said, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Well, I want this job." And he's like, "No, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he's like, "When you find out, let me know." So like 2 or 3 years later, so when the reps find a waste stream, whatever, let's say it's contaminated soil, right?
Sure.
I'm going to use Meridian as an example. Okay. So I managed that project for Rumpke, made sure all the sampling was done correct, blah, 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 blah. Then I sent it to a guy in engineering, and he reviewed my work, and then he's the one that signed off on it. He's the one responsible for everything, blah, 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 blah. So I ran into Andy like 2 or 3 years later, and I'm like, I want his job. And he's like, there's only one in the entire company. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to tell you. When he retires, I want his job.
You asked me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
And so like, I don't know, a year or so later, the guy's name's Brian. He calls me up and he's like, hey man, just want to throw it out there. We're thinking about splitting the company and creating their position. And I want to throw your name in the hat for the job. And I'm like, yeah.
Told you. Want that
Yes.
job?
Yes. So this all happened in 20 during COVID. So
Okay.
it took a lot of time, but
Slow. Yeah.
yeah, it was slow starting, but man, I just love it. So
So no sales then. Really,
no
at all.
sales, no sales. So I have, I think, 5 reps that do not report to me. They report to sales.
Yeah.
So I'm in engineering. So they send me data and say, hey, I've got this soil job. What do you want? What do you want to see? And I just work with it from there. And dude, it's never in a million years did I, sit back and say, hey, I want to do this for a landfill.
Isn't that amazing? Dude?
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Did you ever think, like, I bet when you were growing up, you're like, man, yeah, I think I might work for Rumpke.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
If somebody had told me that I'd be doing what I'm doing right now, I'd have been like, I don't think I'd ever thought of that.
No.
I don't even know.
Well, I did.
Well, yeah, you did. You were predestined.
I wanted to be an insurance agent.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't say I didn't have any direction. I just didn't know what direction I wanted to go.
Me too. I kind of knew I wanted to be in sales, I think, after I had tried the other route. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know where my niche was going to be.
That's
I didn't know that companies like I'm working for now existed.
Yeah.
That's it. And I don't want to bash on sales guys. I enjoy sales. I love sales. What I hate is, like with Rumpke, and this is just business 101, right? So I would do a lot of work with the Army Corps of Engineers on dredging the Ohio River in Pittsburgh. So there's a company that dredge in Pittsburgh, put it on barges, send it to Gallipolis, and I'd send trucks down there, load it up off the barge on the trucks, and ship it to Wellston, right? Those jobs is just whenever it happens, it happens. And if I bid it and get it, I get it. And if I don't, I don't, right? So if I got it, let's just say this year, well, then October of next year, I'd get a phone call, hey, that 15,000 ton job you had last year, what happened to it? I don't know. You going to get it again? Probably not. Like, I'm just very matter of fact.
Yeah.
That was the side of sales. Like, listen, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to hustle as hard as I can. I'm going to work as hard as I can. I'm going to get you everything that I can.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's different companies, and you got to find a company like Pudge and I wouldn't trade that for a bit that we came up in Western Southern, because, man, it developed that grit and accountability.
And I'll agree.
Yeah.
For me, it was John Deere. I mean, dude, they
you need, when you're first starting in sales, you need somebody asking you like, hey, pal, what are you doing today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Yes.
Hey, where did that go?
Yes.
What happened to
Yes.
this?
Yeah.
But then you get to a certain point where, they trust you, and you move up into organizations and different, you start your own agency. Like with me now, like nobody's really asking me what's going on. I mean, I'm supposed to know.
Yeah.
Now ask me and I'll tell you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. But I would have never been able to get here if I didn't build and cut my teeth in that, because it teaches you the basics.
Accountability and responsibility.
And the basics of how to, just little things that I picked up there that I hadn't picked up in 10 years previous.
Yeah.
Of know your numbers, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got
How many
this.
calls does it take to make you a sale?
Yeah.
Know
your
that.
numbers. Well, and know where you are right now versus your goal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to make this year?
Can your goal even happen?
Yeah, what do you want to make this year, man? Don't just throw out some stupid number. How you going to get there?
Yeah.
Well, this is how. Hey, Chubbies, when was the last time you had somebody take a look at your life insurance? It's something that nobody likes to talk about. But one thing I know about Pudge is he's coming to your funeral. You might as well have him show up with a check and take care of those loved ones. That's the time when they need it the most. He's writing it every day. Come have that conversation with him and get it done. And by the way, if you own a business and you haven't let Pudge quote your commercial insurance, you're making a mistake. Let him check it out. Make sure you got proper coverage for the best value on the market. Gillum Insurance for all your insurance needs. 740-395-0190. And Western Southern have a very good system for that. And the dudes we worked with, Byler, Brennan. I mean, it was
Good,
what a room.
We all understood.
What a room.
Yeah, we all understood the assignment.
Yeah.
I mean, its purest form. I mean, we just
Well,
all knew.
I think it was rare in that company that there was a room full of guys that basically bought in and said, "Well, no, what is the number? We're going to hit it."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that crew in a different area. Like, I would have liked to have seen that crew where there was some more enough people to make a living.
Well, that's what I would like to see. I would have liked to have seen that same crew in a B2B situation, business to business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Business to business
Yeah.
sales, and this is nothing against consumer or retail.
Yeah.
But
It's just
B2B
hard.
is
It's hard. I mean, B2B is a much softer
Yes.
sales point, man. In my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, and
I learned early on that the guy that's buying a $350,000 dozer knows what he wants and is much easier to sell and to work with than the guy that wants a $10,000 used skid steer.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with either one of them.
Yeah.
just two different slices of
Yes.
two different prospects.
Yeah, two different prospects, two different mentalities. I mean, if times were different, I may have still been there, but it was. I was at a challenging point.
Well, I mean, I mean, the thing I was actually kind of astonished. I got out there and it's like, well, wait a minute, man, this guy, it's not his money. He just needs this product,
Yeah.
and he's not paying for it. His
Company is.
yeah, his hospital or his whatever is paying for it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like blew me away. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not. Like, I got to ask him for the money, but like, really, all I got to do is let him know.
See, I'm still doing that every day though. Where
I know,
it's,
dude, and that's hard, dude.
it's where it's
And money's
it's your
tight, but-
kitchen table money. You
Yeah,
know?
boy. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
you're good at discerning that. You're one of the best at discerning that, and that's a compliment.
I
Like,
think
know
that's
what
why you've
discern-
been able to stay in it so long.
that,
dude.
thank you.
I don't know what
That's-
discerning
yes.
means.
Well, you know what? Well, I think your customers understand that you're not after their last dollar.
That's
No,
it.
I'll help them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
mean.
Yeah.
And I think that you've got to get, like, if you're going to be in business to consumer sales, your customers, there has to be a level of trust.
Yeah.
That is next level. That they know, like, oh, well, you know what, man? Like, they got to know you as a dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they got to be like, well, I trust that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Yeah.
not after
Yeah,
my
he told
last
me.
dollar. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not like, how many times have we all like the typical used car salesman
Bingo.
guy?
Yes.
Yeah, that he's going to try to keep ratcheting you up no matter what. Like,
You want the extended warranty?
yeah,
and
all
the-
that. All
See,
that.
but like in my
coding.
job, it wouldn't. They're with me. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
you
dude.
know where
Yeah,
like
yeah, you
like a
guys-
used car salesman, they won't.
Yeah,
like
it's
they-
totally different.
They leave the lot, and you may never see them again. Well, if you come to me, I got you every month.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But the
you can't do that.
Can't do that. no.
I would imagine, and I don't even have the perspective to make this comment, but I would imagine it's easier doing your job in your position now versus when you were at Western Southern, because now it's your office, it's your dime, it's your call versus, and it's your budget and your goal versus before it was.
Well, I'll say it like this, and I don't mean it like the grass is always greener, but it's just different set of headaches.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Grass is greener, dogs are meaner.
Yeah, yeah. I'm tickled to death that I'm where I'm at now versus there. Like I'm glad I got out of that.
Yeah.
You're not longing for the days.
No, I'm not missing.
Well, I
it
mean,
at all.
that business,
gone.
unfortunately, that business is going away, and what a powerhouse that was. But we kind of
We don't
saw
even
that
have
coming.
Yeah, that's why we all were like,
Yeah.
We don't even have an office in town anymore, I don't think.
Well, they're really getting rid of a lot of their agency.
And that thing was worth several.
Hey, this
millions
one down here was one of the biggest ones
in the company.
Yeah, I remember
in
you
the
guys
company.
telling me that,
Yeah.
and we're like,
It
little
was
office
old and it was big.
Yeah. It was cool, but I don't know. Well, you gonna come back on and see us?
sure.
Yeah,
All right.
man. Hell, we got several
you.
topics.
There's several
Thanks for
topics.
coming, man. Appreciate it, Kyle. Take
Resident
care.
bourbon advisor.
Yeah.
Whiskey, rye. So hey, like and subscribe.
Hey,
Kyle
I
Fannin. We haven't even told you his name. Kyle Fannin.
Yeah, hey, yeah, everybody meet Kyle. Hey, I've seen some good looking merch out there on social media.
Prater was wearing some.
Yeah.
And AP
And you're returning the favor.
Yeah,
You're
AP Prep's
returning
got a
the
little
favor.
shot. That's it.
Yeah.
See the new shirts, but
Yeah. Hey, get on there, like and subscribe. You couldn't do us any bigger favor.
Trying to get to 1,000.
Yeah, have a great summer. Enjoy July.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to go on vacation, but you won't know it.
Yeah, you won't know. Yeah, so we'll see you, Chubbies. See you.